Welcome back to Chaos Collectibles. Alright, so today the video is going to be a little bit different. I am going to talk about the 5 pitfalls of collecting. Alright? Collecting is awesome. I enjoy the artwork. I enjoy all the things that I acquire. It's a very fun hobby for me, and I've been doing it for quite a while. Really full hand bone since 2020 for the most part. However, there are 5 pitfalls to collecting, and the first one is it gets very expensive very fast. You can rack up tens of thousands of dollars. So make sure you got your priorities straight before you get too deep in this stuff, right? Because it can become a serious addiction. All right, so number 2, space. A lot of people don't think too much about this one until you get in and you notice that things are filling up very quickly, right? With action figures, I mean, you got to buy hundreds, maybe thousands of figures to really run out of space. But when it comes to statue collecting, you can run out of space very quickly when you have, garage shelves that are 2 feet, 4 feet wide, 2 feet deep, 6 feet tall, I mean, I have 6.5 garage shelves in here. In this, space that I have, it's probably a 20 by 15 room, and it fills up very quickly. So space is a big one. Sometimes running out of space is worse than not having the money, because you can always save the money. It gets a little bit harder to come up with more space. All right, so the next one is time. Spending time looking for things, shopping, buying things, all that stuff. I mean, it can consume a lot of your time when you get into this stuff. So time's number 3. The 4th, and this one's probably the worst of all of them. The risk of being scammed. Now, if you've been in this long enough and you're making hundreds of transactions, thousands of transactions, you may not get scammed, but there's a good potential that at some point someone's going to try to. They may not get away with it, but there are a lot of scammers out there in both the action figure world, and there's a lot more in the statue collecting world. When you're dealing with statues that cost hundreds of dollars, sometimes even thousands, and these things cost $100, $200 to ship, you really got to be careful. Not only as a buyer, but as a seller. I belong to some of these groups, and there's people who will buy a statue off somebody, ding it, and try to get money off, or try to get someone to help pay for repairs, right? So not cool at all. So that's something to be aware of are the scammers, okay? And last but not least, but this is something that I've thought about a couple times, right? And hopefully it doesn't get to this point. But moving. When you move, you got to box all this stuff up in such a way to where you're not going to damage it, okay? With figures and stuff, you can wrap them up in bubble wrap, put them in a box. But with statues, this comes back to space again. I have over 25 statues, most of which are quarters scale. I have a life-size bust. I have a couple 6-scale statues. Even some 3rd scale statues, which is 1/3 of the size of a normal person. You got to keep the shipping boxes. I have an ass ton of boxes in the upstairs of my garage, these shipping boxes. They have the foam in them with the cutouts, so you can take the pieces of the statue and box them up, and it's to protect them during shipping. So as a statue collector, you never want to get rid of the boxes. But if you move, that's a lot of stuff to move. I mean, I couldn't imagine how many trips it would be in the back of a pickup truck, or probably a small U-Haul. It could potentially take a small U-Haul just to move my collection. So there you have it, everybody. The 5 pitfalls of collecting. Now, trust me, there's a lot of good in collecting, right? Being able to enjoy things, But these are just the things that people usually don't talk about. So if you can come up with more reasons, more pitfalls of collecting, please comment below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this. All right. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time. Woo!